Surface area of prisms and cylinders. Okay, guys, in your notes, please write down the underlying portion. The surface area is the total area of all faces and curved surfaces of three-dimensional figure, right? Now, the three-dimensional figure, these consists of the shapes that we're going to be dealing with, lateral areas, and bases, okay, or base, okay. And the lateral area is defined to be is the sum of the area of the lateral faces, okay. All right. So what that means is that that is basically this lateral area right there, over here, and here, like this. So if this was a house, the lateral area would be the faces of the wall. Okay. All right. The base in this case is the top part right there. That's the top base, and that's the bottom base right there. Okay. Now, if you cut it open like this, right, you will end up with three faces of a wall, lateral areas, and these two bases are the same, right? So if that being the case, that will be the height, and that will be the A and B, and that length will be the C right here, guys, okay? All right, so this is a base, this is a base, and this whole dark gray area is the lateral area. For that reason, the general formula for the surface area of the prism is the lateral area plus twice the base, because prism has top and the bottom right there, guys, right? All right, guys, and for the right prism, the lateral area is the P, the perimeter, right? That's the perimeter of the base, and that is the height of the prism. Okay, and the area of the base, that really depends on the shape. Okay, that really depends on what shape it is, and we learned how to find the area for the triangle, any quadrilateral, circle, and any regular polygons, right? And the base area, we usually denote it as beta, cursive B. And in most cases, instead of L, we generally use LA as in lateral area, right? So the lateral area right here, guys, for the cylinder is the general equation says perimeter times the height, but perimeter of the circle is 2 pi r, right? So just understanding this, you don't really have to go memorize individual shapes. You just have to know the basic premise, the basic formula, right here, guys, for the surface area of a right prism, okay? And then the base area for this one is obviously beta, which happens to be a circle, hence it's pi r squared, okay? All right. Okay, so I'll just copy this over from the previous, we had the same one above, but I'll copy it over again, right? There you go, okay? All right, guys. All right, let's take a look at this and make sure you commit this to your memory, and let's go take a look at the example, shall we? All right, we've got 4 examples. As usual, if I were you, I would pause the video and try this on my own without any help. And if you're successful at doing that, then I think it means that you know what you're doing, right? But now I'm going to assume that you have tried this on your own already. Okay, let's have a go at it. Let me zoom in all the way to a single question. Here we go. Clearly, this is a regular prism with a because they showed tick marks right there, here, 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 and here. That's an indication that this is a regular hexagon. So we note that this is base is a regular hexagon. Right? All right. So we just need to find the lateral area and the area of the base. And we're almost done, right? So near the bottom, where my answer should be, the surface area SA is LA, the lateral area, plus twice the base. So now let's find the lateral area first. Okay. The lateral area is the perimeter times the height. But if each side is 12, we know that the perimeter is 6 times 12 because there are 6 sides to a hexagon. And we multiply by the height of the prism, which happens to be 15. And that will give us, yes, 1080. Good. So that was pretty straightforward. Yes. All right. Now we have to find the area of the base. And the area of the base happens to be, it's a hexagon. If you remember this, we know that the hexagon is made up of, yes, it is made up of 6 equal equilateral triangles. So we just have to worry about that shape right there. Okay. So this right here, single triangle, is 1/2 of the base, which is the entire length over here, guys, right? Which is 12, times the height. But if you look at that triangle, and if that's 12, and that's 12, if you cut it equally, that becomes 6 and 6. That means that's 6√3, isn't it? Yes. So the height of this triangle is, or apothem, as we learned before, is 6√3, right? But the base is made up of 6 of these, like this, right? Good. So you could do it this way, and that should come out to, if I'm not mistaken, let's see. All right, that's a 336. Okay. Let me break up my calculator. That's 18 times 12, isn't it? Which is 216√3. Now, there was an alternate way that we learned how to do this, right? Do you remember that? The area of the regular polygon, right? Or I could have said is 1/2 AP, where A is the apothem, that is this right here, guys, right? We find that to be 6√3. And the perimeter is what? 12 times 6, right? As it turns out, it gives you the same exact answer, right? Good. All right, guys. So what that means is that I could, okay, zoom that back in again. So that would be, lateral area would be 10, oopsie, let me change that. 1080, but twice the base is what? 432√3. Okay, guys? All right. If you're asked to, let's say, write to the nearest 10th, you could just multiply that by what? Square root of 3 and add 1080 afterwards. And if I'm not mistaken, oops, I made a mistake. 432 square root of 3 plus 1080. That comes out to 108028.245949. If they were to ask you to write to the nearest 10th, let's say, the answer will be therefore 1824.2. Normally, I would prefer to see exact answer. And if I did ask for the decimal, I like to actually see both of them. Okay. exact answer is always a requirement. Okay, good. And the reason for that, as you know, is for me to know that you understand the entire procedure. Okay. Here we go. And for this one, this appears to be a cylinder, which means it's the same. Let me use a different color for this one. Okay. So the surface area is the lateral area plus twice the base. In this particular case, the important information is that that is a diameter, which implies that the r, the radius, is 11/2, right? So the lateral area is, once again, perimeter times the height, but the perimeter is 2 pi r, and the height is 7. Replacing for the r, that's 11/2, 7. That gives you 77 pi, does it not? Yes, it does. And the base, okay? The base is pi r squared, which is 11/2 squared, and that gives you 121/4 pi. Putting that into the equation, that I believe, let me just bring it up just a tiny bit higher. Okay, I suppose I could just move it to the side right here. There you go. And the lateral area is 77 pi plus, and then when you double 121/4, that just becomes 121/2 pi. Combining that together, that gives you 137.5 pi. Okay, guys? All right, there you go. Now, on to the composite figures. In number 8, it appears that we have the cylinder minus the prism of what appears to be a rectangular prism of the equal height, right? All right, guys. So same idea applies, okay? But we need to be a little bit more careful. Surface area is a lateral area on the outside, right? That's this part right there, right? On the cylinder. But we also need the lateral area of the inner, because you would kind of cut out the inside. So we're talking about this right here, guys, right? Created by that rectangular shape top and bottom, right? And then we have the twice the base. Okay, that might be a little bit tricky, simply because that base, as you could tell, is actually this part right here, guys. It's the circle minus the rectangle, right? So that's the base that we have to look at, all right? Okay, let me drag that information down because we actually want to substitute that later. We're going to use this as a guide to do our problems, right? All right, guys, the first thing we should look at is lateral area, that's outer. Once equation for that is the same, perimeter times the height. The perimeter just happens to be 2 pi r. 2 pi r, and that was given to us as 14, wasn't it? Times the height, which is also 14. And putting that into the calculator, that should come out to 392 pi. Once again, always leave pi as it is. If you have to estimate, we estimate only at the end. Okay, we have calculators, guys. And then we have LA, lateral area of the inside. That's still the same, perimeter. But that we're talking about, in this case, the perimeter of the rectangle, right? And the rectangle is made up of 6, 14, which is 20. You have another 20. So perimeter is 40 times 14. I believe that comes out to 560. And we got to have twice the base. I'm just going to put double it right away instead of waiting. And that is the circle, which is pi r squared, minus the area of the base, which is 6 times 14. And I believe that comes out to 392 minus, 392 pi minus 168. All you gotta do is you square that and you double it, right? When you 14 squared is what, guys? 196, right? That's right. And then you double that, which gives you 392. And this right here is essentially 6 times 4 times 2 gives 168. Now, I'm going to bring this back up. To find this, I'm just going to add them together, right? So when you add this value and this value, you just double that, which gives you 784 pi. And we're adding all these values together, right? Which is 560 minus 168 for the non-pi values. And that gives you, if I'm not mistaken, hold on. I think my note is wrong. It is positive 392 right there, guys. Okay. So let me, because there's a lot of writing over here, just box the one that is the answer so that you know that's my answer. All right, guys? All right. Okay. The next shape is composite, but this particular composite is some of the two shapes, right? You're adding a shape into it instead of taking it away. So basically, we are extruding this circular shape right here downwards this way, creating a cylinder, right? So we just have to be really careful about all these shapes. Now, we have to consider, right, what has changed, right? If you look at this base 1, and then we got base 2, and we got base 3, and we have a lateral area 1 and lateral area 2. Is there anything else that we need to worry about, guys? All right. So sometimes it's, in this particular case, it's hard to put in a nice, neat equation like this, right? Then airing out individual pieces like this clearly indicates what you're doing, right? So let's zoom in. Okay. For the B1, that's actually the base of a square base, right? Which is basically 2 times 2. That's a 4. And base 3 is nothing more than exactly. It is a circle, so pi r squared. And r is half because 1 is the diameter. That gives you pi over 4. Now, the B2 is essentially that circle, the square base minus, because they're coming in contact with each other, that particular area is hidden. So you got to take away the circular area. So that's essentially B1 minus B3, or simply, we have those values already. So it's 4 minus pi over 4. The lateral area for the rectangular prism, square prism, is straightforward, right? Perimeter times the height, right? And the perimeter is 8 because there are 1, 2, 3, 4 twos, right? And the height turns out to be 1/2, and that's a 4. And the lateral over here is perimeter times the height, which is 2 pi r times the height. And that turns out to be, Yes, it is 2 pi r. 2 pi, the radius is 1/2, the height is 2. So the answer is 2 pi. All right, guys. All right, now we have to add all the values together. Surface area is B1 plus B2 plus B3, 3 different bases, LA1 plus LA2, right? So when I add B1, B3, and B2, and we see that cancels out. So that adds up to 8. And then lateral area for 1 is 4, and that's a 2 pi. Therefore, the answer is 12 plus 12 pi. All right, guys. And I'm going to underline that one. Okay, guys, so there you go. All right, so now it is your turn. Here we go. What I'll do is I'll just write down the correct answers for you. So if you have a question on how to do these, we could talk about it in class. This is your turn. The answer for the first one, if I'm not mistaken, is 410. For number 5, to the nearest 100th is 139.68. And number 7 is 791.7. For number 8, 26,238.6, or it is 8552 pi. And number 5 is 344, and this is 200 pi, or 628.3. Okay, guys? All right, that is it, and I'll see you in class. Bye-bye.